nice.
Long with clothes, 1975. A YouTuber is on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends used to bug him. Lawn Boys Bros, 1975.
Hey YouTube, Lawn Boys Post 1975. I've got a question for you. What do you think is, an acceptable length of lifespan for a console? This is something that came up in the live feed recently, and I have touched upon it very sort of briefly in a video a few years ago, way back when the Xbox One was still referred to as the Xbox 720. And yeah, it's funny because it's kind of relevant as well, because if you think about it, both the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 are in very, very strong positions right now. Hasn't always been the case, back in the past when companies rolled out newer systems, that both sort of main competitors had systems that were equally, in strong positions in the market. And, obviously Microsoft in particular, and to some degree Sony have both said that, these are still valid, viable systems and will be maintained. So, but there's a tangent that I want to get to on that. So what do you think is a viable lifespan of a console? Now, I know that I'm not expecting stuff to last for absolutely ever, but I mean, if you look upon it, I think, isn't the PlayStation 2 and the Atari 2600 like two of the longest running lifespans of a console ever? What's the Atari 2600? Possibly 15 years. I think worldwide the PlayStation 2 might even be 13 years. A decade to me is a crazy long time when you think about it, in the, particularly now in the world of video games. But I kind of think a decade is, kind of roundabout right. I know lots of people are going to laugh at me and call me naive, and certain people will say, well, it will be so obsolete by the time it gets to the end of its lifespan. But I think those of us who are into consoles, or it's our primary sort of gaming choice. There's nothing wrong with PCs. I used to be a PC gamer, I'm just not anymore. But I think the mindset you have when you approach a console is different from that, as a PC gamer. A PC gamer will know and accept that if they want to stay on the top of their game, they'll have to, upgrade, keep moving forward. Whereas a console gamer, and I've mentioned this before in a video, very much has the mindset that it's all-in-one plug-and-play sort of package. You purchase a console, however shiny it is on launch day, you purchase a console knowing full well that there are limitations that exist within, that ultimately as time progresses will just become more and more apparent. But then there's also the flip side of that I've always enjoyed about console gaming, which is towards the end of the lifespan of any system, some people, some software houses just find ways to wring every ounce of juice out of that bad boy. But yeah, I would say 10 years is a fair sort of number for me. As I said, these are just my thoughts and opinions. I could be, you could all completely disagree, but that's why I'm asking this question. Things that have annoyed me is, the GameCube. I mean, we'll forget the Dreamcast and how Saturn had a bad habit of just giving up on stuff, just dropping stuff, but the GameCube, I mean, it certainly didn't tank. Arguably, it was nowhere near as successful as the PlayStation 2, but my God, did they drop that quickly when the Wii came out. What was the GameCube? 6 years? And then then you got the flip, was the Wii was absolutely huge. Clearly won the sales of the last, or that generation of systems. And then they dropped that after 6 years. I can to some degree understand why, because although I always liked the idea about the Wii, which was, it was never about power, What's the analogy? There's only so many, big dinosaurs the world can support at any one time, so I can't remember exactly, but you know what I mean. So yeah, that's why they went a different route, and I've always said that I absolutely love and adore the Wii, but that was 6 years, and it was hugely successful. So I know they wanted to, kind of compete again. I guess arguably you could say they didn't with the Wii U, but I just thought, hang on a minute, you dropped the GameCube because it wasn't what you wanted it to be success-wise, and then you dropped the Wii. Well, technically you are still supporting it, but how much so, I kind of don't think is as much as you said you would. And you could argue that it's come full circle because the Wii U's not done that well. So if anything, they should probably carry on supporting the Wii. But yeah, so it's, I don't know, 6 years to me is unacceptable. I mean, I keep my car. I wouldn't change my car after 5 years. Maybe that's more reflection upon how wealthy I am, or, how I approach owning a motor vehicle, but I wouldn't change my car after 5 years. So I certainly don't think you should have to change your console. As I said, it's completely different from PC gaming because you would expect to do so with PC gaming. But I'm just trying to think of the length of other consoles. But yeah, I mean, the other tangent I want to talk about, if you look at the Xbox 360, what's that? 8 years now. No, this is what's interesting about these, because as I said, they're in a very, very strong sort of, place right now still, even though the new systems are here. Or in the case of my country, one is here and one's about to come along. Sorry about Europe, you got shafted, man. But they're still going to support these things. But what makes me laugh about that is that generation, when you think about it, when they do finally stop supporting them, however long that will be, I can't see that, probably at least another 18 months, 2 years, surely. But then, I don't work in the field. But when they stop supporting them, when they drop the system, the servers for those consoles, and I'm not talking about playing online and stuff like that, but essentially you've got two kind of broken systems. Probably the last generation of console that you can buy after its lifespan and still play. But at the same time, think how many games patch right out of the box. Think how many games were released broken, and then you've had to patch. And in some cases, if it wasn't for the patch, it was damn near unplayable. The minute they stop supporting those servers, you've got not fully playable sort of systems, if you know what I mean. But anyways, like I said, that's kind of a random tangent. What do you think is an acceptable lifespan for a console? Am I crazy in thinking that 10 years? Have we been spoiled by the PlayStation 2, as I said, that that it was supported so long, that its sales figures were so strong? I honestly think 10 years is a reasonable figure. More than that, I think obviously I'd probably be taking a piss. But yeah, I'd love to know what you think. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.